Threat exists now for the Father's Day weekend. We're watching a chance of isolated showers tonight, but heavy rains. The remnants of Tropical Storm Bill could arrive Saturday night and last into Sunday morning. Meteorologist Brian Vandegraff along shortly with a check on what to expect. He's got the complete forecast for you just ahead. In Charleston, Dylan Roof, the man accused of killing 9 people in a shooting at that historic black church, due in court in about an hour and a half. There's a bond hearing scheduled at 2. He's charged with 9 counts of murder plus a weapons charge. And we've learned more about the 21-year-old police say is responsible for the massacre. ABC's Cecilia Vega now with new details on Roof's background.
An accused killer brought home to South Carolina to face justice. Hours after his arrest in North Carolina, Dylan Roof flown by airplane back to Charleston, police officers at his side. The first pictures of Roof behind bars. Friends say the 21-year-old high school dropout was a loner, an unabashed racist with a deep hatred for black people.
He wanted to make something spark up the race war again. So he picked Charleston, I guess, and then he targeted a black church.
Childhood friend Joey Meeks and his mom Kim saw Roof on Tuesday, the day before the shooting. They say the FBI showed up at their house after they called police when they recognized Roof's face on TV. They say Roof advocated for segregation and always carried a gun in his car.
He said that he thought that the black in general as a race was bringing down the white race.
In this photo, flag patches on Roof's jacket, one from apartheid-era South Africa. His bizarre behavior recently leading to run-ins with the law. In February, Roof, wearing all black, arrested at a mall after asking employees out of the ordinary questions, like how many workers there were and when they were leaving. He was accused of illegally possessing a prescription drug, Roof telling police his parents were pressuring him to get a job. Just 2 months later, Roof arrested again at that same mall for trespassing. New questions,
Dylan, what do you have to say?
Yet so few answers.
What do you have to say?
We're hearing more now about those shootings in Charleston. That is Cornell Williams Brooks, the president of the NAACP, reacting to the shootings. Let's listen.
A stranger welcomed into the house of God by the children of God could spend an hour in fellowship, an hour in study, and then perhaps lay down a Bible and take up a gun and lay 9 people into untimely graves, tragic deaths, is unconscionable. It is morally incomprehensible. It is a flesh and blood obscenity in our midst. We as a nation, as Americans, as African Americans, as Latinos, as Asians, as Jews and Gentiles, Catholics and Protestants, people of all faiths, all traditions, every hue, every heritage, are quite simply shocked by this crime. And that it took place in God's house, in the holy city of Charleston, South Carolina, runs roughshod over our moral sensibilities. It runs roughshod over our constitutional and moral values. It is a living, breathing contradiction of everything we stand for as Americans, everything we stand for as South Carolinians, everything we stand for as African Methodists, and most certainly everything we stand for as members and supporters of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. This crime is not merely a crime perpetuated against a church, not merely a crime perpetuated against a pastor, not merely a crime perpetuated against 9 congregants. It is a hate crime. That's right, brother. And as such, it is a crime perpetuated against the conscience of the country, the soul of the country, and our values collectively as a country. A hate crime is a crime in which all of those who yet believe that we can confront hate with love are victims. All of those who yet believe we can confront violence with nonviolence, we are victims. All of those who believe in the highest values of this country, who believe in the values of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, who believe in the values of Denmark Vesey, who believe in the values of a church called Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church. This is a crime perpetuated against us, and we are all, as such, victims. But make no mistake, if one were to survey the history of the NAACP, it's clear that time and time again our members, our leaders, and the country we represent has been victimized by hate mongers, purveyors of prejudice, students of a satanic hatred. But we have never allowed ourselves to be victims. We have never capitulated. We have never laid prostrate before the demagogue of racism in this country. We have refused to do that. We yet refuse to do that.
All right, brother. All right. All right.
So this is a moment where those who indoctrinated or led this young man down a racist path,
Amen.
Yeah.
who caused him to embellish a vehicle with a Confederate flag, a flag that yet waves in our state capitol. Caused him to embellish his clothing with the flag of Rhodesia, the flag of the pre-Nelson Mandela apartheid era South Africa. This is a moment in which we say to them, that white nationalist movement, those purveyors of hate, we as Americans will not subscribe to that philosophy. We will not give up. We will not give in. We will not give over.
Cornell William Brooks, the president of the NAACP in Charleston, talking about the shootings on Wednesday night in which 9 people died inside the Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston, what they call the Mother AME Church down there. 19 minutes now before 1 o'clock. Brian Vandegraff standing by with an update on our weather forecast and the possibility. It seems like we have been stuck in this sort of semi-tropical weather pattern where things heat up, the storms boil up, and then they come on down through the afternoon almost every day now,
Daily.
Brian.
No, you're right. And some of this ties into Tropical Storm Bill's remnants, which have been firing up the nation's midsection. High pressure off the southeast, and all this moisture is being funneled off to our west, up and then over towards the northeast where it's been grazing us. We've been riding right along that frontal system. And this weekend, once it finally moves out, Saturday to Sunday, we may break the pattern briefly. But we're still in the heat and humidity after summer kicks off Saturday. It's 87 downtown right now, but only 79 in Frederick, Dave. 81 at Dulles, 79 in Winchester, 79 in Culpeper. So cooler to the west, we've had some clouds. And even looking at our live radar, we've had some sprinkles out there as well. Here's a look at the vantage point now. We do have some sprinkles in some spots across some of the locales out there. Very light in nature, but here's the heavier stuff. Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, down in Little Rock. You can see that swirl in the atmosphere. And as that swirl translates north and eastward, it's going to be throwing some moisture our way, and I think it's going to be late tomorrow into Sunday. We'll time it out with the latest Futurecast coming up in just a bit. We're taking a break. Back with more after this.
Parents, is your child skipping or falling behind in school?